is up, everybody? Welcome to the Wingin podcast. Jack, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How about yourself?
I am making it, Andre.
I mean, I'm good. There are so many rumors coming out that right now match things that I have said long ago, but I'm not diving into that because that's not the point of what we're doing today.
Right.
Oh boy, yeah, the next couple weeks are gonna be so hilarious. All right, so first things first, before we get into our annual gift advice episode, couple housekeeping things. So we are doing our annual Keeley Award Show roast on Thursday. We just sent off our co-stream form, so we should be good to go. We're covered for YouTube for the live stream reaction. So we will be here Thursday. I think we're gonna kick it off a little early because it says 7:30.
Mm-hmm.
But we know that's usually that's the pregame, the pre-show, whatever. Just going off previous years, it's probably gonna be 4 hours. Yep. So stretch before you come. That's all I can say. Just stretch before you come. We do plan on having guests show up. So chat, we need y'all to do y'all thing. Let's keep the jokes coming. I know most of them gonna write themselves.
It's easy sometimes.
Yeah. But yeah, we're gonna need y'all to keep the jokes coming because we are gonna have some guests come through. But let's have some fun on Thursday for this 2024 Game Awards like normal. So this year, and as always with previous years, as we always do, if you don't know what to get that person, you can always get them a gift card.
Always. That's
always
the
get
easiest
them a
one.
gift card. If you don't know what to get, if you have no clue what they like or anything like that, always, and they whatever they like, if they game on PC, if they game on Xbox, Sony, Nintendo, you can easily get a gift card. They usually have them. You can find them anywhere. I've seen some in Hallmark and in grocery stores now. So y'all can find them wherever you need them, and they have them in different, varying prices. So just do that if you don't know what game to get. So tonight we're going to start off with accessory help. So what you see on the screen right now, and I got the link in the description for 8-Bit Dough and Power A. We'll be going to both of those. First one is 8-Bit Dough. I like these controllers because, one, there are a lot of different kinds, and they are for PC, Xbox, and they do have them for Switch, for Nintendo as well. You can see right here, they're Bluetooth wireless and wired. They also have, I think this is the Genshin Impact one right here. And they also have ones for Super NES.
Yep.
And NES. And Sega. So they have a nice plethora of choices for you to go from. You can find these on Amazon as well. If you don't like going through to usual sites, you can find them on Amazon.
Yeah.
I have this one. For the SNES, this is actually a really good one. I actually like this one. Just so you know, I prefer the one with the handle on it, just because this one is a little bit small. I had to give this to my nephew. It is really small, and my hands are big.
Yeah, it's small.
So yeah. And I did not notice this, but yes, they do have 2 fight sticks. They have this one for Nintendo, and they have another one for PC. And I don't know.
I might have to get those.
Yeah,
that's wireless too, so that's pretty dope. And from the people I've seen, they said that they actually have pretty good latency to them. So
yeah, I might have to snag those.
Yeah, so they're reasonable. They're reasonably priced. They're not overly expensive or anything like that. The Switch one, the ones that I use for Switch, they have gyro, they have rumble. There's an app where you can go to program how you want to set up your buttons. I do that all the time. That's why I keep saying on these next round of consoles, this next generation, we need to get away from clickable sticks and go to paddles, because that's just easier, and you don't have to worry about accidentally doing something because you press too hard.
That depends on your twitch reflexes. Some people's fingers do this while they playing.
Yeah, I had to move the back paddles from my Xbox Elite controller. because I just grip it so hard sometimes, and I'm like, yeah,
when you get into the moment, you just like
yeah.
oh shit, I didn't mean to touch that.
But I will prefer them over the clickable sticks, though.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm fine with both. If the option's there, just allow me to be able to disable whichever one I don't want to use.
Right.
Yeah. And that's that. Also, they are supported by Apple. If you guys are using Apple, I did forget to say that. Because especially the SN30s, which are the SNES looking ones, those are. I have a friend of mine that uses those, and he's like, yeah, they work with Apple Arcade. So
yeah, they do.
Yeah,
and
so
that's where I'm glad they've gotten better with the the reliability on them. Because I remember I bought my very first one. It's the one that looks like it's like the SN30 Pro. It has the handles, but it looks like a SNES controller, like that one.
Yeah.
And I could not get that thing to stay charged. I couldn't get it to stay paired. And so now pretty much I just got a brick. Like it works. It's just it won't connect to anything. So now I just have a nice looking controller sitting there. So,
gotcha.
But the quality's gotten a lot better with 8-bit though, for sure.
Yeah, it's way good. I prefer these guys as my third party go-to.
Yeah.
Only thing I kind of wish they had something for Sony. They don't at the moment. Because y'all know how I feel about Sony in these last couple generations with their batteries that are horrible.
Yeah,
so
they are
4 hours.
Yeah,
they say that's all you need to play anyway.
Yeah, I can't stand that, and that's crazy. Oh, what's up, Sandstorm? How you doing?
What's good, man? How you?
They just looking out for y'all. Y'all being ungrateful.
we making it. We're just going over accessories right now. So
okay.
All right. So now here's my other one that I like to use. That I have never had a problem with any of my Power A's, and Power A, they do the whole gamut. As you can see,
they really do.
Nintendo, PlayStation, Xbox. They got them all in here. So whatever you're looking for, and PC, wired and wireless.
Yep.
And brands. They have it pretty much all of their. They have all the bases covered. So
look, when Mad Cats fell out of everybody's favor, Power A kind of stepped in place and said, "Okay, we'll make good controllers now."
Yeah,
right.
Emphasize good at that point because, geez, Mad Cats, love you, but dang,
but they was everybody's bootleg cousin.
They really were.
Yeah,
I mean, you get what you pay for. When you charge $15 for your controller, you know what you're getting.
That is true.
But yeah, like these, I haven't tried the Fusion Pro 4s, but I have tried other Xbox ones, and they work fine. They work great. Comfortable. They really feel good in your hands. The triggers, I've read somewhere that some people said they have drift. I never experienced drift on Power A or 8-bit though.
This is the one thing I tell people. Be very mindful of who you're listening to, because also too, we've seen on social media where people will show like roaches and stuff within their console. Like some people just really do not take care of their product. Like it's just they don't. And I've seen that full on, like, hey, that wasn't a system problem, that was a user issue. Like just like when the Switches came out and we were talking about like, oh, the dot was scratching stuff up.
Yeah,
like, dude, you jamming it in there. Like that's not supposed to be the case. Yeah. Chill out.
Like chill with that stuff. Yeah. They also have this on Power 8, and this the GameCube style Pro controller. I can't believe I let my nephew get mine, but these are actually comfortable as well. And if you want that GameCube feel, because I think GameCube is one of my favorite controllers. Just saying. So. And these are surprisingly good, and they're wired and wireless. By the way, they're both.
They're really good.
Yeah,
I had one originally, and I know they were doing like at least with the wired ones, they were doing the different styles. So you have like the Yoshi style, the Princess Peach style, and for whatever reason, it's almost like GameStop stopped selling them. So yeah, you would have to get it from Power 8 directly, because I can't find them at GameStop anymore.
Yeah, they're not at GameStop. The only ones I saw at GameStop were the mini ones, the mini Spectrum ones. Those were there, but the main ones you got to go to either this site or Amazon.
Yeah,
that's where you can probably find them at. but these are very good quality. I have not had an issue out of any of the ones that I have. So I don't really know what to tell you. If people are telling you that there's drift on them, I have not experienced that. So I don't know what to say about that.
There's always, one out the bunch that may not properly, work. But I mean, I'm pretty sure these companies do pretty well with responding and getting back to you to replace it.
Oh, and if you are looking for headsets, they do have headsets on here too.
Powerade, that company, boy, they trying. I don't know what award they trying to win, but they at the top of their game. If you need it, they got it.
Yeah, basically, what's that? Lil Jon song? I got X, I got we. That's them. I got anything you need. I'm like, okay, that's Powerade. Yeah, Powerade has. Powerade is like, look, man, y'all gonna buy something.
Yeah, so you gonna get something from us.
Like we got so much stuff. Even your mama gonna come to us for some stuff.
Basically, but those are two places that I've personally shopped, and I can tell you that their stuff works, and it is of good quality. Powerade is their stuff is usually ranges is more budget friendly. 8-bit though is usually still like 79, depending on what it is. It's usually range between like $69 to $99, depending on, like I said, on what it is. Powerade is usually running more along the lines of 49 to like 79, depending on what it is.
Well, honestly, I mean, if you look at it from quality and also range, 8-bit tends to be better. Like, even though Powerade has everything, 8-bit, you can get a controller that's going to work for every device you have, and it feels quality too. So,
and you can use it on PC. So, Switch and Xbox controller that I have is compatible with PC.
Yeah.
So,
pretty much, if you were to look at it this way, Powerade is like, okay, this is a good, decent controller for a decent amount, and then 8-bit though is the premium.
Yeah. There you go.
That's how you should look at it.
Yeah.
If you want the controller for yourself, 8-bit. Anybody that want to play second player, third player, whatever. That's how I look at it.
At least in this situation, Powerade ain't gonna be like Mad Cats, and have your buttons sticking after 5 minutes.
Off.
Or you hit the trigger too hard that it gets knocked out of place and then you can't use the trigger no more.
Bro, I feel like still to this day, I think I'm the only person I know that whenever I got my first Mad Catz controller for my 64, when I would plug it into my 64, it would shut it down. And what I would have to do is unplug the controller, unplug my 64 from the power outlet, plug it back in, and then turn it on. I could never.
I don't know what sort of.
I had that
out my 64. I had no idea. Out my 64 is crazy. Like,
I actually had that problem. No, I actually had that problem.
Well, I don't feel alone now because I feel like people thought I was crazy. I'm like, no.
It was my second Mad Catz controller I bought. I had bought the orange translucent.
Oh, I know which one you talking about.
I will never forget it. So we was playing Perfect Dark, plugged it up, and my N64 froze, and I'm like, the hell. I unplugged all the controllers, plugged it back up. Okay, everything working. Plugged the other controllers in, plugged the Mad Catz in last. It got to the load screen.
Then stop.
Froze again. I'm like, I just unplugged the Mad Catz. Everything went back to work, and I'm like, okay, sorry, bro. It's only gonna be 3 of us.
Yep.
We just have
it's like the Mad Catz controller was giving the console some data it wasn't supposed to actually have.
I don't know, but because and everybody noticed back then, like the Mad Catz controller like between $15 and $19. So it told up in 3 weeks anyway. I had to replace it in a month. So that's when I got worked fine. I'm like, I don't know if it was just that batch. But yeah, I did have that problem. So you were not alone.
That's crazy.
I've never had that particular problem. Now, I've had the problem where I would plug in my Mad Catz controller, it would register with nobody touching it, and then the character is moving. Then I unplug it and plug it back in.
I've had that too.
I had to unplug it, plug it back in for it to work right. I'm like, okay, I've had that issue with shutting down my console. I've never had.
You ever had your Mad Catz? If you playing a fighting game, you ever had your Mad Catz just randomly hit you? Like, okay, I'm gonna go in here and practice with the second controller on, and then you just doing your thing, and it's like, you're like,
what? Like, pushing buttons.
You're not here by yourself no more.
My personal favorite is when it just you have the stick, it's in the middle, and then it just goes to the edge. like you just go to the edge, and you got to actually pry it off the edge to get it back in place. So yeah, man,
that controller was the worst for Mario Party.
Boy, especially after
that's who should have listen. That's who should have been getting sued for people getting blisters on their hands. Mad Cats. Goodness, man.
The craziness, the craziness, man, the craziness of Mad Cats, man. All right, so games. Let's talk games. This year has been a pretty big year. That's an understatement. There are games I still have not played. Brothership being one of them. Metaphor Refantasio, I haven't played. I hadn't had. I don't have it. So I'm probably not getting it until next year. Even though I played that demo.
Yeah, amazing demo. It's just
amazing demo. Is just the first 45 minutes of that demo. I'm like, am I gonna play?
Nah, you're not.
Listen, sir, we have to world build and give you exposition. You can't do anything yet.
Meanwhile, Yeast 10 got me in there in like in 20 minutes. I was in there fighting.
Out in 20. Like.
So yeah.
You said we're gonna be the fast food version of this setup.
I wouldn't even say fast food because I think Metaphor is just way too much sometimes. I was just like, dude, this is taking way too long.
Yeah, it does. It takes a lot. It takes a while to get to the point. So for this year, I wanted to start it like this. What games can we, if you're looking for something that, because they're not gonna get no 4 or 5 games this Christmas. That ain't happening. So
not at these prices.
What game do you think? What game would you recommend that has a decent length overall that you can recommend? And I'll start with Andre.
Okay. Based on everybody knows I am. My kid's been over here screwing around. Everybody knows I'm a huge fan of one very lengthy RT. Goddamn.
Blur it out.
It's blurred because they don't want me to show you.
They don't want to. hey, contender. They don't want you to see it.
They don't want you to see
game of the year.
They don't want you to see the greatness of Unicorn Overlord. That's what it is. They just don't want you to see it. It's a game that it's got enough length to play it for several months if you're playing it in spurts. And on playing it on the Switch is probably a better way to play it anyway. Because Exodia, no. Playing on the Switch is probably the best way to play it anyway, just because you can, if you need to move around, travel around with it, and you're still going to get the full experience either way. And if not that, hey, what else did I grab? I grabbed so much stuff this year. If not that, then I would say Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, because it's definitely worth playing.
Yeah.
And I was going to hold it up, but it was going to be blurred out anyway.
Yeah. And that's another one that has a pretty decent link to it as well. And it has DLC and it's replayable. So there is all of that. All right, Jack, what about you?
So this one I just finished. It actually has a decent amount of time on it. There's no like backtracking or anything like that, but Sea of Stars, it was actually a pretty good game. And then also too, apparently has DLC coming out here pretty soon. So look forward to that. But then also they did the free update for the game that I wish would have happened like before I started playing the game.
Yeah.
But you know, it is what it is. If I ever, start feeling froggy and want to play through it again, then I can at least play through that brand new prologue. I did get an opportunity to at least experience the differences or the changes or the challenges they've added to it, to where usually when you fight, there are these blocks that pop up that you have to unlock to kind of stop an attack from happening. But with this new update, you have the option to turn on where those blocks are covered up. So you kind of have to play a guessing game. So it's not as easy. Now, it was never easy in the first place because some of those enemies that you fight, it's like, I can't put that combination together in one turn. Like, it's just not happening. But ultimately, I think that one would be a really good game to pick up. And then also, for my VR crowd, they've been doing a lot of heavy sales on a lot of their games. But I always point towards Underdog. I think it got nominated for VR Game of the Year this year at the VR Awards, and it didn't win, but because I think who was it? Asgard Wrath won this year, but Underdog is a roguelike game. So if I'm telling you to get it, and you know I don't like roguelike, then there's a reason.
Yeah,
But
right.
they do it differently than your typical roguelike. So you've heard us say that we do like some roguelikes like Hades, and they do it the right way. There's some that do it to where you just don't feel like a punch in the face. This one in particular, the way they handle the roguelike is, yeah, you're kind of going through your fights. When you get done with your fights, you can choose to go to the scrapyard and find like different pieces or different parts that you can find. Depending on how long you want to stay out there, you can either find more or better stuff, or either you can get out there and get your behind whooped by some people that's out there, working in the area. But depending on the people that you choose to work with as you get ready for your next fight, they'll give you perks. And so you kind of build relationships with those people. And so it's like, okay, my stuff might be cheaper in this store, or it might be cheaper for certain parts, or it might be cheaper for different services. And you're kind of like buying different parts, or just putting your machine together, or putting your robot together. And when you do lose, it's not like, okay, cool, I'm starting from the beginning, I have nothing. There are some things that you do keep, and it's really just kind of pushing through and kind of keeping those relationships and really building up, and just really making it a lot easier for you to make it through. But I would say Underdog for sure, because I think is 15 or 20. I could be wrong, but I think it's like 15 or 20. But I'm pretty sure they had a sale coming up pretty soon. And Quest always has sales. They always have like a 20% off, 30% off. So you can get it for a pretty good price. And if you are savvy enough, I'm not going to tell y'all how to do it, but if you're savvy enough to find somebody that's posted a referral code, you can get another percentage off too. So, but yeah.
All right, cool. Sandstorm.
So this little game behind me, is definitely
Wukong?
Yeah.
It's think Kakarot could take him.
I think he could. I think he could. I think he could. I think it'd be a close battle. No, actually, it wouldn't really be that close. But
no,
he could, but would he? That's the
right.
question.
Right. I would love to see. Pause ahead of time. I'd love to see Power Pole versus Power Pole.
Yeah, that is a pause. You were correct, sir. Yeah. You were correct.
You were very
pause. Goodness. That was a strong pause, sir. Yeah. Power Pole versus Power Pole. All right.
Sounded like a Diddy party in here.
Boy, I know. Sword fighting to the max. You know what I mean? Goodness. Wow.
Yeah, but it's a it's a really fun game. Just even the story of watching a singular monkey, as Frieza calls him, to start off to start off as basically a nobody, and essentially become, the reincarnation of Wukong. The game is actually really tight, as far as controls and everything like that. Boss battles are great; they're enjoyable. Only recently did I get to Soul's Irritation, but outside of that, the game is really fun, really addictive. I haven't gotten to New Game Plus yet. Jack said his son did, but it's essentially the first time through in the game. Essentially, you're building up how you want your character to specifically be. But I've heard if you max the level out, you basically get all of the perks and stuff like that, which I'm okay with.
Okay. All right, cool. All right, for me personally, there's a couple of them. Prince of Persia is one. The Lost Crown, that is a good game. I think people should get that one. Tales of Kenzera Zao, despite what most people on Twitter will have you believe, is a very good game, actually. Has some good themes in it, and it actually it actually has a very good story, very well done, and I can't talk about that game enough. I think that game is very. I'm glad it got nominated at the Game Awards. I hope. I don't think it's gonna win, but I'm glad it got nominated because the hell that man went through and that team went through because people are too scared to just say they're racist is beyond me. But that one, Echoes of Wisdom, is very enjoyable, and I love the puzzle aspect of it. I actually like the story on it. I thought they did a great job with Echoes of Wisdom, even to the point of explaining why Link doesn't talk in the game and actually having it where it makes sense. And him talking at the end, I thought was hilarious. Trails Through Daybreak. This came out in July. Now, if you know anything about the Legend of Heroes series from Falcom, Trail Through Daybreak, you don't have to have played any of the other ones. They do reference them, but it's not to the point where it's just basically references for people who know. It's a good entry point for people. It's a 100+ hour game. It's going to take you a while. And there's always a new game plus to these as well. So, because there's some stuff I'm going to have to do just because I missed some stuff the first go around. Because there's some side quests you can miss just because if you get too far, you just can't go back and do it. The last one is Yeast 10 Nordics. The Yeast series is a very good series. It is action RPG all the way. And if you played 9 and you didn't like it, I promise you 10 would probably be more your speed because 10 is especially on Switch, is a way smoother experience. Way smoother experience than 9 was. 8 and 10 are off the chain. And there are also long as well. I did beat my initial run through of Yeast 10 was 47 hours, but I did miss a few side quests. So there are some stuff I'm gonna have to go back and get. There is a new game plus aspect to it, but yeah, those two. And there's one more that I'm trying to see. Oh yeah, Grand Blue Fantasy Relink on PS4, PS5. That's another one. If you're an RPG fan, I think you will like. If you actually watch that anime, Grand Blue Fantasy, I think you'll like it as well.
Is that only PlayStation?
Yeah, well, PlayStation and PC.
Okay, gotcha.
So it's PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and PC. So those are some games, those lengthy games that I think if you like, okay, look, we ain't getting but one. It's gonna have to last you a while. I think these games that we just gave y'all some hints on, I think those are good for those type of experiences. That way, it's gonna take them a while, and by the time spring roll around, because you can't the games we're doing, you should not beat them in a weekend.
No, you really shouldn't.
You really shouldn't. If you are, you're not paying attention.
Yeah.
So
there's
that.
There are two games I also want to throw in there real quick. They're not. One is lengthy if you really actually spend the time with it. The other one is not necessarily as lengthy. One is Roller Coaster Tycoon Classic.
That just came out on the Switch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is surprisingly. I mean, it's still click based with the mouse. So they use the stick as the mouse, and you can't change the speed of the stick or the mouse scrolling,
right?
Which is the only negative. But outside of that, snapping the pieces and stuff like that, making the roller coasters is like I personally think it's a lot easier, but
the touch controls or
no, and that's another thing that's weird. There's no touch controls, but it's button. Yeah, but it's button based. As like you push the R and then A if you want it to slant sideways.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like it's easy. I mean, you're just pushing two buttons or multiple buttons in order to do that. But the game is a whole lot of fun. If you haven't played any of the classics, I know that's kind of showing our age. That was on everybody computer, mama and daddy. So it doesn't and until you like zoom out in the map, it runs a little bit weird. But I mean, obviously it can't be the system. I just think that's kind of just the age of the game itself. I feel like it did that even with the olden games.
It did, yeah.
But the other game I was going to recommend is actually a game that was recommended to us by VG, and I picked it up, and I'm enjoying it a lot. I'm glad he recommended it. It was Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, which is the spiritual successor, if you will, to Jet Grind Radio. And you're not locked into just skates, but you also have skateboarding and BMXing along with it. So it's a whole lot of fun. I'm enjoying it to the maximum degree. Highly recommend picking that up if you missed the Tony Hawk days and just riding around and doing tricks and stuff like that, or just putting your mark on different walls. So I know today is going to be a heavy pause day.
Wild day.
Apparently.
Wild day.
At least I'm catching them.
You gotta catch them all.
I'm woke today. So, but yeah, highly recommend that game. Both of those games. If you have a little extra loot, Bomb Rush is $40, so it's not the full $60. And I can't remember exactly how much Tycoon is, but I want to say
25.
Yeah, I was gonna say I know it's not more than 30. So definitely if you want like a secondary gift or something that's a little bit cheaper, that maybe somebody else could afford, definitely those up.
Okay, cool. All right, so let's talk about the underrated. So anybody got games that they feel are underrated that should get a look at?
I don't necessarily have game, but I do have hardware that I think would be a good purchase. So there are a lot of like retro handhelds out there. Of course, we have a lot of PC handhelds out there. If you are interested in getting into like the retro side of it, the Odin 2 has been amazing. You'll find the price should get ready to come down because I believe this month they're going to start shipping out the Odin Portal, which I'm kind of pissed off about because the Odin 2 came out this year. Like so like the Portal, which is, I'm not worried about the specs because emulation only goes so far, but the form factor of it is what I expected. And it because opposed to just having like the stick right under the buttons, it has it offset like the controllers tend to have it. So that's what I would say, especially if you want to get into the retro games and then have something that you can easily pick up. And then also too, if you want to get into mobile gaming, that the Odin 2 has the ability for you to map buttons. So if you want to play like Pokemon Unite or any other games that don't have button controls set up already, you can do it yourself. And there's a lot of people that have profiles that already have it to where it's like, hey, go put it here, put it there before you even start the game. So that way you're already set to go. And it makes it super easy, especially for those that also play COD Warzone. Like if you want to play it, you've been playing it on your phone, but you want controllers, that's an easy way to do it too. I think that's a pretty cool pickup for anybody. There's cheaper ones for sure, like the Retro Pockets, because I think like Retro Pocket 5 just came out. And I think that's probably like in the 200 area. But we're talking about like that one has like an OLED screen if you care about OLED. And actually playing like your retro games from that perspective, and also using it as a remote play device if you already have an Xbox or a PlayStation.
Okay, all right, cool. Sandstorm.
Oof.
Underrated.
I'm like running through my list. Like, what is really underrated? I mean, I could go back a little and say Cyberpunk is, especially with the Phantom Liberty. Definitely picking those up because I thought it was a good game from the beginning, from the jump, and then they worked on it, and then it became a great game. So if you haven't played it, I still highly recommend it, especially after watching the show. If you watch the show and the game the show kind of touches on the surface of how the game kind of works. So if you're interested in, like that bullet time stuff and all that, I highly recommend that. Outside of that, I don't really know. Hogwarts got an update. I'm like looking through my stuff. I want to recommend Starfield, but Starfield is so much of a, you have to be a particular
Investment.
type of person, yeah, to like really enjoy that kind of stuff. If you're a management inventory management freak, I highly don't recommend this game. Be, be, because you spend a lot of time messing with your inventory, almost as I would say arguably more time spending your time managing resources than you actually do play. And it's not because help me out, Jack. It's not because it's required of you.
Right.
You just get to a point where you just like, man, I need to put this away. I need to get this. I need this person to have this. I need to grab this.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It really is, and that's why I put it down. Like
Mhm.
it's just a lot to invest into. So I mean, I would never put it in the same category as like the MMORPGs or anything, but it's a
Mhm.
commitment. And even if you get into it, there was also DLC that dropped for it.
Yeah.
So if you're
And
into,
their whole expansion.
yeah,
Yeah.
So I
Oh,
mean,
I gotta go ahead. Go ahead.
it's a lot. It's a big game. To me, honestly, if you have an Xbox, I would say just go the Microsoft, not Microsoft, but Mass Effect route.
Yeah.
Honestly, that to me
Yeah.
that feels better. That
Yeah.
feels better, like better orchestrated, better put together. Because really, Starfield, you can tell they just tried to make a huge game, and it's
Yeah.
like,
They Bethesda the mess out of
oh yeah, 100%,
a space adventure.
yeah.
Okay, so what I will say for my underrated game, sorry, out of all things, is Diablo 4. I'm sticking with that. I'm
Are
sticking
you
to
still
my
riding with
guns.
that?
I am still riding
Okay.
with that. Now I've stopped playing because of because I beat the season, so there was no
Okay.
reason for me to continue going.
Okay.
But it sounds like the next season that's coming is going to have a lot of stuff even after you do the seasonal stuff. But yeah, now that they have the DLC that's involved, I guess I could really actually keep playing now, Jack, because I haven't even beaten like the actual DLC itself. I've just beaten the
Right.
season. So,
Yeah.
beating the DLC to see exactly what happens at the end of the actual story probably should be something I do. But yeah, that game is
I'll come
phenomenal.
back over here with that.
That game is phenomenal. I like all the characters except for the rogue. I can't stand the rogue.
Right.
And it's just it's a fun not like Diablo 3. It's like a mixture of Diablo 3 and Diablo 2. But leans more to Diablo 2 until you like get really late in the game and then it runs like it wants to act like Diablo 3, but like with Diablo 2 feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if you've got friends to play with, or even playing by yourself, because I don't think I've ever actually played with somebody.
I play by myself.
It's a great game. Even if you need to pick up, and I would say the quality of life things of even just like grabbing another person out of the world on a random to play. A lot of people will just be like, "Hey, what do you need?"
Mm-hmm.
Hey, let me help you out real quick. Or you'll be like, "Hey, do you want to run this with me real quick so I can get through this?" And they'd be like, "Sure, no problem." And they may even stick around a little bit after to help you out. So the community has been really positive. Not a lot of hate on there. Highly, 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 highly recommend the game. Um, yeah, yeah. Have
Okay.
fun with that one.
All right. Cool. One of mine is Contra Operation Galuga.
That's pretty good.
Is it good?
I actually enjoyed it.
Okay.
I mean, it's not as hard as Alien Wars. Still get PTSD about that. But yeah, Contra Operation Galuga. Trails Through Daybreak is underrated. Like I said, very good but underrated. There is one that I was playing on my PlayStation, but I can't remember the name of it for the life of me, and I don't have it in front of me. So there's that.
Did anybody ever play the Double Dragon game?
Oh, so
I did not, but I was going to ask Andre about that because I think he did.
I haven't.
I saw that GameStop the other day, and I was
thinking about it, but I haven't gotten it.
So interesting thing, and I'll throw this out on the side too. Speaking of Double Dragon, and I don't know if this is because the game came out, but if you have River City Girls 2, or was still kind of interested, yes, they have a update. I think
I need to pick that up.
it's DLC where you can get Double Dragon, both Billy and I forgot the other one's name.
Jimmy. Billy and
Jimmy, yeah. To play with in the game. I think it's like $5.99 maybe. To have both of them in the game. But that game alone is that's a top notch game.
I haven't played that game yet.
Was crazy. That first one was crazy. I do need to pick up a second because that first one was crazy.
I'm mad I haven't gotten it yet. Like it's on my wish list, and I still have yet to pick that game up. It's on 20% off on Steam right now.
If anybody wants to play, I'm more than welcome to play. I got it for Switch. I don't know if it's cross platform.
It's not yet.
Okay. But yeah, if y'all want to play, if you got it for Switch, I will definitely play with you guys because that game is great.
That's got to be something difficult to do for that to just not be a common thing right now.
Mm-hmm. Cross platform.
Yeah, that's got to be something difficult.
I think it's more about cost to the developers than anything else.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
Because before it was just like it really was just a couple people saying no, flat out no. It was
right. I remember that.
It was Sony and some developers just like no, because I remember like for Minecraft Legends and Minecraft base game, Microsoft and Nintendo had full on commercials like, "Hey, we do a crossplay," and it worked, and they were showing it. They were showing it worked. So it can be done. It's just one of those things. I think it's kind of like a rollback netcode. It needs to be done at the beginning of the process instead of halfway to when you're at the finish line. You don't need to try to do it then. You need to try to do it at the beginning. You need to do it at the beginning.
Pretty much.
And people don't think like that. Yeah. And then by that time, it's like, dude, you might as well just add that to the DLC.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do it. So yeah, but it's like that. Also, I know I'm not the biggest proponent of free-to-play games just because I don't like the precedent they set. But First Descendant is actually pretty good if you're into like looter shooters and stuff like that. And they have Nexon, I got to give them props. They have been keeping up with steady updates. They just released season 2 for it, and it's actually not bad. I actually prefer that to Warframe and Destiny. I prefer.
Do you think it's gonna go the cuckoo like X Defiant and all these other games right now?
I don't think it will. Well, X Defiant, man, that was Ubisoft, and Ubisoft's reliance on trying to prove that live service is the next big thing. That was their fault.
Live service is like 3D being the next big thing. It's just not
right.
That was their fault, and that was the hubris of Guillemot for that. He was gonna make it work. Like, look, dude, the infrastructure just ain't there.
Nah,
it just ain't. And like, you can get mad all you want to. The infrastructure just ain't there for it to be viable. Because once again, it's like it may work for us in the city aspect, but just looking at the U.S. by itself, it ain't gonna work in the swamp of Mississippi.
No.
Out in Montana, Billings, Montana.
Yeah.
Parts of Nevada is a desert.
Yeah.
So
they only think of their own country though.
Yeah.
Like, is this gonna work in our country?
And yeah, like I said, like for that stuff, like it'll work over in France. Yeah, cool. But you a global company, bro.
Yeah.
So they same thing about like look, just a lot of these hero games like Overwatch. Like I'm still mad at Bobby Kotick about the whole giving us saying Overwatch 2 was going to have a campaign and then nixing it because reasons.
And then you couldn't even play 1 anymore because you just had to do 2. Like this, that whole thing was stupid.
Yeah. So I mean, that's why I like. Look, I get it's kind of like. I think the main problem that happened, and this is a little bit of a tangent, but I think the main problem that happened is everybody's trying to catch lightning in a bottle and don't understand that's not how lightning in a bottle works.
Yeah.
You don't catch it after it strikes.
Yeah, and you can't duplicate it. Don't try to duplicate it.
Right.
Just keep your creative juices flowing. Stop trying to copy everybody.
There you go.
So yeah, that's
that's a really good point, because it's so weird that one person will come out with something and it'll do extremely well or mildly well, and then everybody else is like, oh, let's try and catch it to it. Let's try and catch it too. And it's like, how many games do you have that are like Overwatch that are just like blowing up to the level of Overwatch? You know what I mean?
Because I think that was something key. There was an artist that mentioned, like, once you see what the wave is, you might as well start looking at the next thing, because that means it's here, and by the time you catch up to it, it's gone.
Concord.
Yeah. Like, and the fact that when they started it, that's when it was hot. Yeah. When it released, it was done. It was late.
Yeah. So unless you already in that, unless you already that name, you can hang it up.
There you go.
Yeah. But Andre, you got any underrated games for 2024 that you would like to?
Underrated from 2024.
Yeah.
Honestly, for me, not because everything I have pretty much picked up. I think majority of people ended up liking.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was some people that decided they was going to run their mouth for no reason, like people that decided they was going to pick on Princess Peach Showtime for some particular reason.
The people that kept calling it woke when I was like, bro, it's Princess Peach. What are you talking about?
Even without the woke thing, I remember, like, I felt like it was going to get that same treatment the way Echoes of Wisdom got. And then also, too, like, when 2K first started doing WNBA, the dumb comments behind it was like, oh, would you get your period in the middle of the game? Like, it was just, some people are just too immature to have, like, main characters as females. It's stupid.
Yeah. That's
I wouldn't see Trinell. I wouldn't count Metal Slug Tactics because it was a mobile game first, and it's just now going everywhere else. That's why I wouldn't even count Metal Slug Tactics.
Oh, that was a mobile game? I didn't even know that.
Yes,
I used to have it. Yeah.
Yep. It worked pretty well, but it was definitely a mobile game first.
And RJ, you are absolutely right. Marvel Rivals, I played it a little bit today, trying it out. I'm like, yeah, it's going to be successful, but that's because it's Marvel and the artwork. And the artwork is fire. I ain't gonna lie, that artwork is off the chain. That's what's carrying that. Like the I like how they got Psylocke looking. I like how they got Scarlet Witch looking. I like the stuff they did with Moon Knight and Black Panther. I don't like Punisher's look. They make him look like he's way too psycho. And like and Spider-Man's look, dude, they doing a good job on the artwork, and it's Marvel. So yeah, that's why that is. But most of them, it's over. It's kind of like with roguelike. You've seen a lot of these roguelites aren't doing well.
Not at all.
They're not, because it's too many of them. So
was there a roguelike that started this trend that was popular though?
Yeah, what was Rogue's Legacy? I think that's the name of it.
Oh, that was Legacy. Oh, that was like 2013. I didn't know that was the one.
2013 or 2014, I think it was. Yeah, that was the because they did that one and they did it too. And that's when everybody started saying roguelike.
Oh, and then also to Binding of Isaac. I almost forgot about
that.
Binding of Isaac. Yeah.
Okay.
So, that was probably one that got bigger in that space. But yeah, Binding of Isaac definitely.
Oh, Void, thank you for saying that. Emio the Smiling Man. I have not played it, but I've heard nothing but good things about it.
That is a good game.
Yeah, I have heard nothing but good things about it.
And look, the demo gives you the first 3 chapters.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
pretty much.
If you're, because that's the Famicom detective stuff. So if you're into that, I would say that.
If you're into a violent story that doesn't show you all the violence but tells you about it in very descriptive, grim detail, that is what you need.
I need to see it.
Yeah, but
that's for people that can imagine it.
But yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about that game. I was thinking about picking that one up, but I probably do need to jump on the demo and play that one before I make a decision. Now this one ain't really underrated, but because it's Tekken. But Tekken 8 is actually pretty good, and it did come out this year. So if you're into fighting games,
no. See, it became underrated when they brought Heihachi back.
Yeah, that's when.
I mean,
that's when it slipped.
But the story, the way they brought him back, they trying to make it make sense. I'm just like, I personally believe they just should have said they used Dragon Ball to wish him back. But that's just me.
They could have easily said. They could have easily said they cloned him
or something. Yeah,
they could have said they cloned him. That would have made sense if you want to bring him back that desperately and have him be part of the story. Just say they cloned him.
Yeah, or just not bring him back. Like
that would have been better.
Yeah.
That would have definitely been better, and only bring him back for stuff like Tekken Tag.
Yeah,
and crossovers.
Yeah, because I mean, like, dude, at this point, I'm like, if you're trying to move the story forward, you can't move it forward if you keep bringing people back.
Yeah,
you're running into that thing where if you're a comic book fan, there's a reason why people don't take death seriously in comics because that mess that happened in the 90s with Batman and Superman. When them two died, and then they brought them right back because DC started losing money immediately. I'm like, bro, you can't. They just made death, and then the Superman one was weird because they made so much money off the death of Superman to then bring him back a month later, and then people really got pissed. And I'm like, bro, so all those comics basically decreased in value because of what they did a month later. They didn't even wait a year. It was less than a month.
You had Superman get the snot beaten out of him by Doomsday.
Yep.
And die, and then you have all these other people try to take up his mantle come out just for Superman to come back.
So stupid.
And then the whole thing with Batman, the breaking of his back, and
oh yeah, Bane.
So it got to the point where it's just like they made it a joke. And
no. Batman's more than egregious because he got hit by Darkseid's Omega beams and went back in time instead of dying.
Okay.
Yeah.
We know he died. We know he died. I'm like, that story just didn't make no sense. Everybody know he died.
Well, they was trying to push Dick Grayson to be the new Batman, so they killed off Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, because
they realized they wasn't making no money with Dick Grayson as Batman, and then they had to come up with this convoluted story that Bruce Wayne was thrown back in time and got sent through different periods of time to come back to the present. I was like, ain't no way, man.
Yeah, I mean the only death in DC that actually stuck around was Barry Allen, and his death lasted for about 30 years. That's the only one I could think of. And then they brought him back with New 52.
Well, him and Wally West for a minute.
Yeah,
the first Wally West.
The first Wally West, yeah,
because he definitely died and didn't come back until after they decided that Barry Allen couldn't be the only Flash anymore.
Yeah, which was.
Anyway, this man is too powerful. We need other Flashes.
In other words, what happened in comics is starting to happen in video games because it's like, dude, y'all making it a joke. Because the whole thing with Miles Bison the same way. They brought Bison back.
Bison at least has something within his lore that explains why he can come back. I just don't like the way they did it.
Yeah. And Heihachi don't really have it.
He doesn't have that. He's supposed to be purely human.
Yeah, he's supposed to be purely human. I mean, that's the whole point. I mean, no, I can't tell Harada that. So,
I mean, even though it's my favorite character, June, same way.
Yeah.
Like,
she came back in multiple forms too. That's the worst part.
Did. Yeah.
And that, jeez. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just use Dragon Balls. Just use Dragon Balls.
Come up with your version. Come up with your superpowered MacGuffin of Dragon Balls.
Gwen Stacy is still dead. Like
the original Gwen.
The original Gwen Stacy is still dead.
We have alt universe versions of her, which is not the same thing.
If you're talking about Spider Gwen, that's
or Gwenpool.
Or Gwenpool, that's not the same. But like the original Gwen Stacy, she's still dead.
She has not come back.
They brought her back for a limited series. That made no sense, and they just that was limited.
When they got rid of her, they took her life away just as quickly as they
just as quickly. I'm like, bad.
And Uncle Ben. This seems like people important to Spider-Man seem to stay dead.
Yeah, they stay dead.
Well, they got to traumatize Peter. They have to traumatize Peter. Like Peter won't be good unless they traumatize him.
Yeah, they got traumatized Peter by having his girl be with another dude and he eating dinner with the dude. I'm like,
yeah,
man,
that's
what is
wow.
wrong with y'all?
Like, why y'all make, yeah.
It's wild because this man goes and sees all these things happen. Like, oh, Stark is back. Oh, this person's back.
Why can't my family come?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
I take it back. They did bring back Aunt May at dissolving Peter's marriage.
Oh, when they did the whole brand new day thing, yeah.
That was stupid as hell.
That was dumb.
That was dumb. They did it.
So dumb. But
they did it.
I mean, yeah, boy. But yeah, that whole Heihachi thing. Like I said, I played through it. It's alright. If Heihachi your favorite character, you're probably happy. If he not,
of course,
like,
yeah.
Even if he was mine, I would not be happy with that.
Nah.
I'm like, okay, we turn the Heihachi into Yoshimitsu now.
7 made so much sense, and the way that story ended was so good.
The way they layered the story in Tekken 7, all the events starting to pile up. You get to see that Heihachi wasn't the bad guy the whole time.
Wasn't the villain, yeah. He just
even though it made it look like he was.
Yeah, but he wasn't.
All his suspicious movement and illegitimate children.
Bro was getting it in, but I was like, God dang. So yeah, but yeah, that's probably the only other one I would think of. There was just so much to play this year.
Yeah,
and I don't have a PS5, so I would have loved to play Stellar Blade, but
NCAA too.
Yeah, that and Astrobot and Stellar Blade, I would have loved to have played. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't understand fully Sony's business decision on those two games, because I'm like,
no,
your bigger pool is PS4, and let's be real, those games can play on the PS4. I'm sorry, they just can.
It take a little bit of tweaking. They can put them on there.
They can make you. They do it for other games, so that's my point. They do it for other games. And like I said, if you have a PS4 Pro, it'll be fine. It will be just fine. So it's one of those situations. But I've heard good things about Astrobot. I heard good things about Stellar Blade. I kind of feel bad for Stellar Blade because, judging by the sales, people didn't buy it.
Well, I mean,
they bought it decently. It just didn't sell gangbusters.
I think the biggest issue with it was the price. Like, you don't drop a game like that at 70. That's a brand new game, brand new franchise. Like, you don't do that at 70.
You know what? The people who were hardcore saying, doing all the Bayonetta talk, they bought it. All right. Those sales were good enough for them.
Whatever.
So when we got them sales, they weren't good enough, but it was good enough for them.
But yeah, honestly, I felt like it would have sold better if they would have brought that price down
a little bit.
Because I mean, if you're telling me Spider-Man 70, it's like, all right, cool. It's tried and true. It's Spider-Man. God of War, or
plus they spent $200 million on it.
There you go. But you're not gonna bring me a brand new franchise and say, all right, it's $70 worth.
No, right. I know nothing about it.
Exactly.
Because you got to build the lore, you got to do all that. And I can understand that.
Plus, let me get it for 50 or 60 this time around. Then when you drop Stellar Buns to, double cheeked up, and you know what I mean?
Stellar Buns too, double cheeked up.
The cake edition.
Cake up edition.
Deluxe cake edition.
Then you can ask me for 70. Then,
extra frosting.
There you go. I would feel better about that purchase, but no, I'm not doing
glad we're not monetized.
I've heard worse on monetized shows.
Yeah, I was gonna say, depending on what it is.
Yeah. Right. But yeah, man, 2024 has had a lot of games.
It has, and that's why it's hard to find one that was like a sleeper. Because really, I'm like, I didn't touch everything or even close to anything. Because it was just one of those years. I was like, I'll hold off, or I'll wait till that goes on sale.
Yeah, it was a rebuilding year to me. Because it's not like any other game. Well, there were bad games. Let's get that out of the way. Yeah. But it wasn't like the games to me. Chanel said, or was it Chanel? No, RJ said that it was close to 2023. To me, 2023 had as amount of level of games, I think they were close to the same. But like 2023 had like banger blockbusters, so it was just hard to not pick those games up. This year, like Jack said, it was just like, okay, like I'm still keeping an eye on this, but I'm a hold off on this because I mean, one, we know a certain console is around the corner.
There you go.
You know, at any point in time that could show up. And two, it almost feels like because of that, everybody else is kind of like setting up to like stop that. So
Yeah.
we know the midnight. I keep forgetting the name of the game.
South of Midnight.
But yeah,
It's like a stupid long title, but yeah.
Yeah, that got moved to next year. You know what I'm saying? That probably would have been a game that I would have picked up.
Yeah, because that's what came out in November, right? That was the original came out in November. Yeah,
that got moved, and Avowed got moved to February.
Yeah. So both both of those games, just keeping those in mind is like, okay, next year is going to be another one of those times, you know, and that's even with the games that we do know. You know, they always drop some games that we don't know about.
Yeah,
that just shadow drop. So
apparently we're still supposed to be getting Metroid Primes 2 and 3 allegedly at some point.
Man,
so,
I ain't getting the damn games.
You say that now. Did Nintendo drop a trailer in 3 weeks?
Nah, Nintendo drop a trailer on Tuesday. The junk come out next Friday. Like,
I refuse.
No. Or they do it.
Yeah, I don't.
They're going to do a direct and drop it at the end of the direct.
Yeah, like they did for Metroid Prime Remastered. The remaster was like what was it? A direct, and then it came out, and then the physical version was the one that came out like a month later.
Yeah, almost years later.
I think if they do something like that with 2 and 3, it's going to be after they announce whatever the Switch is coming, and they're going to be like, you know, this is going to come with Metroid Prime 4, and in between. But this is me personally. In between the 2 months that you waiting for whatever the system's coming out, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, we got, you know, Prime 2 and Prime 3 and a pack coming out so you can play that before this game comes out.
Oh, and guess what? When you play it on a new console, it's gonna look better.
Basically, yeah. I mean, I can see that, but yeah, it is what it is. All right, people. Thank you for joining us tonight. We really do appreciate it. If you want to check out those links, they're in the description for 8BitDo and Powerade. Also, if you want to, leave a comment. Tell people some of your favorite games this year, or something you think that people would like, or that needs to get some more love. Leave that in the comments. That way, people will know, you know, if they need some ideas, you know, because that's basically what this episode was for, just to help with ideas. Because Christmas is coming. You got like 2.5 weeks, so we're trying to help. We are trying to help.
Because I mean, from that gaming front, it's hard. Yeah. You know, because so much released, and then you got those. It's like, okay, they have content creators they can go to that they trust with reviews, but then I realize with a lot of people I've spoken to, Metacritic beats them up. Like it's like, man, that game looked interesting to me. But Metacritic told me it was a 70 something, so now I don't want to spend that $50 or $60 to try that.
That's a major problem. Like, stop using Metacritic. Stop using Metacritic.
Yeah. That I would.
It's there for a reason. I get it. It's just it's killing right now. It's killing people right now.
Because I think that's what we're gonna find out Thursday. There's no way that jury played all these games. There's no way.
We know that. So, we see that every year.
Yeah. So, and the problem is, it's basically, oh, did you play it? Oh, well, no, I didn't play it, but my nephew and my niece played it, so it must be good. Like, no, dude, that's not how this is supposed to work. So I think that's what we're going to find out Thursday. Also, just so you guys know, this is going to be the last official podcast of the year. The rest of the month, we're going to be off after the award show roast on Thursday. I'm just gonna we're just gonna be out the rest of the month. We'll come back first Sunday of the new year of 2025 because honestly, there ain't really nothing it's not worth it. Plus, Christmas coming up, won't be a real point. So, we will be doing a couple things though. I have a plan for a couple of game nights. So please be on the lookout. Discord as well as the community tab. post tab. I think it's called now. Yeah, so just be on the lookout for that for when those go live, and we'll do little things like that. But as far as the podcast, this is the last one for the year. So just know that. Jack, anything you want to pimp out?
As always, the new album that just released on the 6th. Definitely go check it out. It should not get pulled down while I'm doing this transfer to this other distro after the headaches that I expressed for those that knew what was going on with that mess. But yeah, just that. Of course, with new music coming up in the future, and something that I was talking to Sandstorm about last night of like starting to do lives on my channel, on the Gaming Grounds channel. Like I've never done a live with that channel at all. I think in the beginning I started doing like the pre-recorded gameplays and stuff like that, but I realized I'm more of a quiet gamer, or either I just like really found myself buying games to play that people were interested in. I wasn't interested in them, so I kind of stopped doing it. But yeah, I'm gonna try to take my shot at doing lives on that one. I don't have like a set time or style of how I'm gonna do it. I'm still working all that out, but that should be coming next year to kind of do those lives. But other than that, man, just continue listening to the music, supporting the music, supporting everybody here as far as the channels are concerned. Even for those that are not here, with Vicky, Shadow, Vito, Noto, like everybody that we rock with. So I mean, we appreciate y'all for supporting us. I mean, we got one more show to go with the Keeley Awards. So outside of that, I would want to Jay, if it's cool with you, you remember I was telling you about that Mr. K song.
Yeah.
I wanna like give like a first verse listen on that particular show, seeing as it's kind of fitting
Yeah, sure.
for that particular show.
Yeah,
And if
we
you
can do
put
that.
2 and 2 together, Keeley Award show and it's called Mr. K, I think it's pretty pretty interesting. So
On the nose.
Oh yeah, on the nose.
so I'll give like a little like sample of that song. I mean, it's a completed song. I have an idea to reach out to OJ to kind of play Black Keeley within like the chorus aspect of it. I haven't reached out to him yet, but I think that's an idea. It'd be pretty cool. Kind of having that conversation between Mr. K, I mean Mr. K, but Chef Keeley and Black Keeley. I think that'd be pretty dope. But yeah, I'll sample that song on the 12th.
Okay, cool. We will do that. All right, Sandstorm.
So yesterday, we talked about a few things on the channel as far as Sony's free-to-play game that just came out on the 6th, which is wild still. We also talked about the problematic problems of the PlayStation, whatever is coming next as far as their handhelds. And then we also talked about the ideas of where certain franchise can go for the Switch 2, as far as games and stuff like that. It was an interesting conversation. Jack was on there, as well as Vito for the most part. So if you haven't checked that out, make sure you go over to the channel and check that out. Whole lot of fun on there. Interesting conversations came out of that. So definitely check that out. Tomorrow is the Joe podcast, which means we will probably be giving our final thoughts on the Keeley Awards for this coming Thursday, and then obviously Thursday we have the Keeleys.
The Keeley slow roast.
Yeah,
Dundies.
yeah, right.
That's what it feel like.
Right. And then Friday we are doing the Nunami on Nona Koyui's channel. So we are talking about I can't remember exactly what we were talking about. Rom-coms for anime. So definitely come on through and check that out. And then Saturday, as usual, at 7:00 we have the Stormcast, and we got some more goodies. Actually, side note, and I'm gonna throw this out here. This will actually be the Saturday before my birthday, so it's gonna be. Chances are it's going to be a special Stormcast. So make sure you check out for that.
Okay. All right. Cool. Andre.
I mean, I got a couple videos in the pipeline. I've already recorded some stuff. Some stuff is already on Spotify, so they'll just be coming out throughout the week. And I'm going to repeat the people because I put the video out, but it only got like 1 like and nobody responded. So I'm going to guess that nobody really saw it. I am working on 2 separate books. One is a dark fantasy story. The other is an action-oriented story. I am 3 chapters in on both of them. Wow. So if people are interested in reading to give me feedback on these stories before I get them to the point of publishing, because I'm going to get them to the point of publishing, I'm going to get an editor for these this time. So I'm trying to get this worked out so that I can get these books ready, because I want to get these books out before summer. One is a rewrite of an old story I did, and that the old version of the story is trash. It is garbage when I look back at it. So I'm rewriting it. The other one is I'm writing it off the top of my head as everything that goes along. If you find a twist and turn in that story, I found a twist and turn at that point too. I didn't know it was coming. So I'm trying to do that because I want to put more stories. I want to start putting my stories out. I have so many stories I have prepped and started outlines for, but I want to get these 2 out and then work on those.
Okay.
So get that done. If anybody's interested, just hit me up on my emails on the channel. If you're interested at all, I will definitely take feedback. I only need like 2 or 3 people for each one. So nothing big.
Okay, cool. I don't really have anything. Just check the channel. There'll be some random posts up. Going back through, looking at some video games that I have not played. Like I got Doom Eternal when it was on sale, so I'm going to be jumping into that, and so I'll probably throw some gameplay up of that, and some other titles as well. Other than that, though, we will see you guys Thursday. Like I said, chat, y'all know how we do every year, so. I'll bring the rum. Y'all bring the jokes.
Look, before we get started that day, make sure you got your snacks. Make sure you got your drinks. Make sure you got your favorite comfortable chair, because we all know it's going to be a long one.
Yeah, I'm expecting at least 4 hours at least.
So. It better not go past 11 o'clock. Some people got to work.
It's going past.
Bro, it's going past. Dude, there hasn't been one that hasn't went past 11 o'clock, dude.
Some people got work in the morning.
Listen, we all going to be 7 to 12. We all going to go.
Yep. Walk away, come back. Like, you got to tag in and tag out.
Going to be in there like they caught that dude.
Yeah, so
I was like, I don't know what possessed the cameraman to capture him for some reason.
Knocked out. Like, not even present. This
I was hoping it stayed on. I'm like, bro.
Hey.
See, that's to tell Keely to keep it short, keep it moving, and stop fangirling.
I think the cameraman saw him and wasn't intending to turn, but he was so shocked, he was just looking like, and just paying the camera.
Like, you sleep for real, my guy? Like, all right.
So y'all, it's gonna be a fun one. Like I said, we're gonna have some guests show up. So let's get ready for the rigged awards. I mean, the game awards.
And he's everything but rigged. He's very honest Joe.
Right.
Right.
Honestly,
everything is fair. Everything is fair.
He is honestly dishonest. That's what we call
honestly. So all right, people. Y'all have a good one. We will see you guys Thursday, and pray for us. All right. Later.
Peace.
Peace out, everybody.